Hasan Piker's recent meltdown over the ShoeOnHead video that just released seems to be making headlines right now, and it comes at no surprise because this guy is a top-notch lolcow. His complete inability to control his emotions while put under any level of scrutiny, even just the insinuation or implication of scrutiny, is enough to send him into a downward spiral. And I thought it was worth talking about as a great example of how letting your emotions get ahead of you is going to lead you down a road of stupidity. Before I get into my breakdown and my personal thoughts on exactly what his response was and what it should be, you kind of need a little bit of the backstory, so I'm going to go over it right now. This all started when he gave his take, the exact same one that I covered in the last video, where he essentially insults anybody and everybody who's ever had the inspiration towards having a family if they're a gamer, calling them unfuckable losers and pretty much telling them that you're never going to have that and you shouldn't even think about it. With my point in the video being essentially just how detached and fucked up you gotta be to try to rob people of even wanting to have an aspiration. He just has to sit there in his ivory palace and talk down to everybody and insult them at every turn that he gets. So if you didn't catch it, I'll play a clip of it right now.
In any case, what is this? Capcom's Pragmata. Wait, did it come out already? Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You play as Hugh as soldier. Say at the start they didn't want kids, end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things that you actually enjoy, right? If you're a lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're going to experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right? This is something that I never understand.
I love how he starts off just kind of, oh wow, I can't believe the game's coming out now, reads the post just like a normal sane person would, and then instead of commenting, that's weird, which is what I'd expect for somebody who disapproves of it, instead, he goes into a huge-ass tirade for the sole purpose of insulting anybody and everybody who plays games and wants a family. Apparently, this guy's never met people before. He doesn't know what a gamer fucking looks like, as most of my friends that have kids are also gamers. So, unfortunately, for Hasan in his analysis here, something has to happen before they got those kids, while they still play games. Now, obviously, I wasn't the only one who realized this. I'm definitely not the first one to the party, and I saw other people talking about it, and that's why I chose the video topic. The last video I watched on the topic before I made my video was actually the ShoeOnHead video. And this ShoeOnHead video is what solicits the response that we're going to talk about today. So in her video, ShoeOnHead is going over the entire Pragmata debacle and covering the entire thing end to end. And that included the clip with Hasan Piker making that statement. She then takes a second to roast the shit out of him, and this is what she had to say.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and can't afford to have one and can't seem to find a partner. They feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not. First of all, the only care about something if it affects you is extremely libertarian coded and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. Second of all, what is this nihilistic horseshit? You never aspire for anything, never aim for greatness and meaning. This is the dude the media wants us to believe is going to save young men from the alt-right pipeline. Yeah, okay.
I love how she starts with a subtle implication that Hasan is claiming that he's this phenomenal political advocate specifically about men's rights, and the first chance he gets in every situation is to shit on the men that he can't relate with. What the fuck are bridges built for, Hasan? Oh yeah, to bridge a gap between two people that think differently. If you're going to be propped up as some kind of bridge that's going to bring people over to your way of thinking, then the first thing you do can't be to pull out your torch whenever you hear about somebody else doing something that you don't understand, that you don't like. And I really hope that subtle insult from Shue dug deep. Immediately after that, she attacks essentially his entire political base by saying that's libertarian coded because he considers himself a proud socialist and this far left-leaning guru that everybody's supposed to gravitate towards. So it does seem a little bit peculiar that he isn't for the everyman and he's not about people having families and the average American. After that, she slams him for his hypocrisy on the fact that he is so ambitious to get people from one country to care about a different war, but it's fucked up for you to have an ambition simply to start a family. At this point, I don't even think you can call it hypocrisy on Hasan's side. I think it just comes down to complete detachment from reality. He operates on the natural assumption that his experiences and the things that he does are the only thing that's real, and everybody else around him is just somebody to be shat on and yelled at until he gets what he wants.
And I love how he's like, unfuckable losers. Like, okay, congrats on the sex, bro. Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could easily go to foreign brothels and pay for sex like you, Hasan. Something weird about a man who could easily consensually get sex from a woman but chooses to go to a brothel. I don't know. Just saying. Also, 35? No kids? Like, I'm sorry, that just pisses me off. Like, sitting in his ugly ass $600 Gucci sweater. I swear I've never seen this guy in a fucking normal ass t-shirt. Sitting on his high horse, looking down at people for wanting something more out of life. I don't understand how someone could be so mentally mind raped that this is their reaction to such like a simple, wholesome concept. Like, literally, no joke, the entire meaning of life is somehow confusing to Hasan Piker.
And the last nail in the coffin that ShoeOnHead brings up is a quote from Hasan himself saying, "I've gone to a brothel, Artemis, in Berlin. I don't hide it. I don't give a shit. Why would I?" So the real question is, can he not just get laid without paying for it? Or does he choose to do it because he knows it's not considered ethical? And that, folks, is a masterclass presented by ShoeOnHead on how to absolutely roast the shit out of somebody without getting mad, without throwing a tantrum, and without bringing up anything but the actions and words that you've said. So after this clip came out, Hasan later on was live streaming, and one of his viewers ended up coming by and saying, "Hey, did you know you're into ShoeOnHead video?" And this was his completely based, calm, and collected response to that user.
Bro, you were on the last ShoeOnHead video. I will literally shoot myself with a gun if you bring that shit up in here, okay? Why? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go out, purchase a shotgun, shoot myself in the face, not die in the process, but at least lose significant chunks of my fucking brain?
The sheer based logic it requires for the first words to come out of your mouth when somebody asks if you saw a video is to immediately say, "Do you want me to shoot myself?" What? Like, what the hell kind of response is this? I can tell you what kind of response it is. It's the exact response that somebody who is mentally unstable and emotionally incompatible with talking to other people has. But we're going to get a little deeper into that near the end of the video.
So I can operate at the same substandard, suboptimal IQ level that ShoeOnHead and her dumb audience operates in, so I can do a regular response to that? Is that what you want me to do? Do you want me to lose chunks of my brain? Do you want me to John Fetterman myself so I can understand the compelling argument that ShoeOnHead makes?
He then goes through a significantly long story talking about exactly the harm he's going to inflict on himself, and make sure that he throws in there that he wouldn't technically die from it. So he knows what he's doing is fucking dumb enough that he needs to pull it back a little bit and say, "I'm not gonna die." So that means that he's deliberately getting all emotional about it. And he went through all of that setup, all that drama, all that emotion, simply to say, ShoeOnHead and audience is stupid. If that sounds to you like somebody who hasn't mentally developed beyond the age of 7, then you'd be correct. That is how children answer things. They freak out, they stamp their feet, and then they say, "No, you stupid," just as Hasan so eloquently put. At the very end, when he just starts talking about, "You want me to lose chunks of my brain," is just pure cinema. You don't want people to answer that question, Hasan. And I don't even know what kind of point you think you're trying to drive home by continuing. I do find it kind of ironic, though, that this is all in regards to a video game that includes a child, and the star of this whole thing is a man-child freaking out because somebody said something bad about him. Hasan Piker is the pinnacle of exactly what it means to not be a mature adult. I really wanted to make a video about this because honestly, not only is it funny as fuck to me, I also wanted to talk about it as a context of people saying there aren't good role models out there, don't have any idea what they're talking about. Hasan Piker teaches life lessons daily. These are the types of lessons that people can take home for generations and generations down the line. All of this shit is permanent on the internet, by the way. It's not going to go away anytime soon. And learning a lesson of what to do is just as valuable as learning a lesson of what not to do. Seeing the internet's response turn him essentially into a lol cow over losing his temper over something absolutely nonsensical is the perfect kind of fuel that you're going to need for people to realize that that type of response, that level of emotionality, and just simply moving into insulting the opposition is not only hilarious, it's baseless, and makes you just look like a fool. I personally subscribe heavily into stoicism, thinking that it's just a great way to lead your life and make sure that you can keep that kind of mental peace when you're under pressure. Clearly Hasan doesn't have that. But I'm going to pull from a quote from Marcus Aurelius saying, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." There's no reason to get mad if you're not insulted. The hilarity of him, even in his quote saying, "I went to a brothel and I fucked, what are you going to do about it?" and then immediately getting so upset that somebody even mentioned something that he was in, that he said something that he wasn't bothered about, is pure cinema. You can't write this shit. And although clips like this and reactions like this typically aren't going to fuel outrage or a major change in what people are doing, having a good conversation in regards to why they look like an asshole can serve as a greater benefit to anybody else looking onwards and trying to learn from it. So now you've been caught up on the drama that's been going on between ShoeOnHead and Hasan Piker, and I would love to hear in the comments below if you guys agree with my take that this has just become a phenomenal learning opportunity, because to learn what to do is oftentimes just as valuable as learning what not to do. And if you think a man baby rage out fit calling people names is going to make you look better than it made him look, well, good luck to you. Either way, that's going to be it for today, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the content. I'm brand new to this, so all of the help is going to go a long way. Stay calm, stay wise, and stay happy. Peace.